Hey, it's Chris Welch of The Verge here at Mobile World Congress 2018, and these are Sony's newest phones, the Xperia XZ2 and the Xperia XZ2 Compact. Now, we've seen years of Sony recycling the same design year after year after year. Big bezels, fingerprint magnets, things like that. This year, they're putting effort back into their phones again. Will it make a difference? I'm not sure, but it's a pretty promising start. Now, let me make this clear. The XZ2 still has larger bezels around the screen than other flagship phones do. They're still big enough for Sony to fit its name on the front of the thing, but they're less blocky and distracting than before, and the screen itself feels more modern thanks to its 5.7-inch 18:9 display with a resolution of 2160 by 1440. There are front-facing stereo speakers at the top and bottom, and there's a nice metal frame running around the whole phone. The USB-C jack is on the bottom, volume and power buttons on the side, and a SIM card slot up top. That also supports micro SD cards if the 64 gigs of built-in storage aren't enough. But if you're looking for a headphone jack, you won't find one. Sony is following the herd and getting rid of it altogether, probably hoping you're going to buy their wireless headphones instead. Overall though, this phone feels very premium, and it's water resistant and supports fast wireless charging. From the back, the XZ2 kind of strikes me as very HTC, with its camera and fingerprint reader both centered in the middle. That main camera is still 19 megapixels. Sony claims this is the very first phone that can capture 4K video in HDR. And you can even record slow-mo footage at 960 frames per second in full HD 1080p. That's pretty cool. Also, Sony's 3D Creator app can now scan in a 3D model of your face using the selfie camera up front. And yes, there's now a dedicated fingerprint reader. For its last several phones, Sony designed the power button to double as a fingerprint reader. But for some terrible reason, the company disabled that feature here in the US. We've been stuck using the old-fashioned PIN code all this time. But now everybody gets a fingerprint scanner, and it's in the right spot. Now inside the XZ2 is the Qualcomm Snapdragon 845, the latest, greatest processor that's ready for 5G gigabit data speeds. It's 25% faster than last year's Snapdragon 835, and has a GPU that's up to 30% more powerful. But a lot of phones are going to have this same chip in 2018, so Sony put something else inside the XZ2 to help it stand out more. It's called a dynamic vibration system, and the tagline is that it helps you feel your entertainment. So the phone will vibrate and rumble when you're listening to music on Spotify, watching trailers on YouTube, streaming Netflix, or playing games. You can adjust the intensity or just turn it off if you don't want your phone to vibrate all the time. Sony isn't yet telling us when the XZ2 comes out or how much it's going to cost, but you can get it in black, green, silver, or pink. There's a smaller version coming too. That's the XZ2 Compact. It's got a 5-inch screen and the same powerful Snapdragon 845 inside, but it's got a plastic back, loses that fancy vibration system, and doesn't support wireless charging. Now, I'm not sure if these phones are enough to reverse Sony's smartphone fortunes. Probably not. Sony barely exists in the US mobile market. Carriers like Verizon and AT&T stopped selling their phones years ago. But at the very least, it's nice to see a fresh design, small bezels, and a fingerprint sensor. There are plenty of awesome phones here at MWC 2018. And for all the latest news on all of those, check out youtube.com/TheVerge.